Hi, guys, and welcome to the 92 Diaries. We are your girls. I'm Juliet,
It's Miss Shards and Fee.
and we are back with another episode. And today, what we are talking about is what is it to be a woman?
That's quite large. That's heavy.
You know what? I think the reason why this kind of topic even sprung to mind for me was because I think the idea of what I thought it was to be a woman has changed a lot as I've grown up. And I guess with the rise of things like the feminist movement and intersectionality within feminism and blah, blah, I was thinking, okay, like, and even like when it comes to our relationships, my idea of what it is to be a woman has changed a lot. And I was wondering if the same, if you guys can say the same as well.
Well, what's your perception? Because I don't know if mine has particularly changed as such. I just think that it has developed as you grow older and become like exposed to more things, more responsibilities, new avenues, and new roles to fill. I feel like it's just expanded and developed, not really changed per se.
Okay.
But that just been sort of like what you think? What you saying? What you saying? You think?
You know what? For me, I feel like before I had a very traditional idea of what it was to be a woman. It was about being what it would seem like the highest achievement for women was to be somebody's wife. That's what it always seemed like to me. Like the highest achievement of a woman was to be a wife and to be a mother. And then if she's like super lucky, then she'll have her career as well. And, da, da, da. And I thought the hallmark of being a woman was being those two main things. And then the career was almost something on the side. And I realized, okay, fairly soon, probably when I was like 16ish, that wasn't going to be me. And like, I wanted to be the one who would have it all. Because I was like, my career is going to mean a lot to me, and da 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 da. And but I still want to be a good wife and a good mum. And then it changed for me because then I felt like my idea of what it was to be a woman was to basically be a superwoman, to be able to handle all things at all times and always have everything under control. And I can't lie, it is very difficult to try and have all those hats. I ain't nobody's wife or mum yet anyway. But anyway, I just felt like it's quite difficult to have all those hats on to be the best woman you can be every single day of the week. That shit is tiring, and I can't do it. And I realized maybe my idea of what it was to be a woman was wrong.
Just in like what you said, I don't feel like I feel exactly the same way. Like I've always just wanted to be a superwoman. I think though I have not achieved the roles of some other areas, in the areas that I have covered, doing quite well, I must say. And I think the reason why it comes across as like wanting to be the superwoman, because I grew up seeing that. My mum was legit superwoman, like every hat in the world, homemaker, wife, mother, successful businesswoman, or successful accountant. Do you know what I mean? Like she had her career, she had her kids, she had the house on lock, and she was doing it, and she still has the energy and the motivation to get on with it. And it's like, well, if she can do it, why the hell can't I? Do you know what I mean? And as I said, I haven't had sort of the opportunity to fulfill all roles as of yet, such as like having kids, but I definitely feel like it's still something that I aspire to do, wear all those hats and still be that superwoman. But that's not my definition of being a woman. Just saying.
Okay. Fee, what are you thinking? You messy.
When I was younger, was I even thinking about that? No, I was a proper tomboy. I was too concerned with like getting out there, playing, running, kicking a ball, like doing all sorts. Do you know what I mean? But like, I guess as I grew older, I started to realize, oh, maybe I'm not as feminine as what society dictates I should be, etc. But I think I've kind of come into my own version of my own femininity, and I'm quite content with that. Like, you guys know I go to the gym quite often. I get a bit of ish for it from some people, but I've learned to just get on with it because there's that perception that women should be soft and pliable, etc. They shouldn't look physically strong. It's off-putting towards men. If anything, it can be quite emasculating to some men or threatening to some men. But at the end of the day, I think it's now becoming more socially acceptable. You see like strong Olympic competitor women like in the weightlifting and what's the lady? Is it Jessica? Can't remember what her name is. But you just see a lot more
athlete.
Yes, is it Simone Bind?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's strong, she's powerful.
Oh,
You got how can I forget
you seen
Serena
her
Williams?
thighs?
How can I forget?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? You're just seeing more strong and powerful women, and they're owning their femininity, and it's in their own way. And I don't think that makes them any less of a women. They've got the career, they've got the household, they've got the husband. Like, it's come, maybe not in the right order in which we've been brought up to believe it should come, but they've got it. Obviously some are probably still too young for that, but to me, I don't know, what does it mean to be a woman? I'm still trying to figure that out, because it's such a wide.
But do you guys feel like we're mixing like being feminine and being a woman together in the same sentence? Is that the same thing? Because I feel like you can be a guy and be slightly feminine, but that doesn't make you a woman. So you know, or you can be gay, or you could even be straight but still be slightly feminine and be either heterosexual, whatever you know, gender specificity is, but it doesn't make you a woman. So I think we're mixing the two.
Probably am, but to be fair, that's the only way I can see it.
I kind of get what you mean, Farhana, because I feel like a lot of the time when you do think of your very, very generic, relatively old school idea of woman, it is the woman who was super feminine, soft. I wouldn't say pliable, but she was very agreeable, the homemaker, the wife, you know, all of those things that you'd associate with being a traditional woman. And growing up, like my mom, like similar to what Shaz was saying, like my mom was the one who did her absolute best to do it all, and she did a fantastic job. I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for the work my mom put in. But in doing all of that, where was the self-care? Like my mom was so busy being superwoman for everybody else in her life but herself. And seeing that growing up, it kind of makes you adopt those same sort of problematic behaviors. And I'm thinking it's not even just about being a woman, it's about how you also look after yourself, but how do you kind of intertwine that into being a woman in today's society, while still being feminine, while still being soft, while also still being strong and disciplined and not taking shit, because we shouldn't be taking shit. And I feel like it's even harder for Black women, all of us obviously, because sometimes I feel like we are criticized if we try to be traditional, we're criticized if we try to be too strong, and it's just like, well, where do we land?
You can't win.
Please.
Yeah. Agreed, you can't win. And I think part of being a woman is taking on those many roles, and I think what women do have as a very superior quality is that we are able to multitask quite a lot. We're able to take on many hats and many roles and be able to sort of balance them out. At the same time, as you've rightly mentioned, Julie, there's so much that we have to take into account. And it's like, you have to be strong for your family, but not too strong to overshadow the man. You've got to be able to sort of provide for the family now in modern day society, but at the same time not be the biggest breadwinner as to overshadow the man. You have to be able to organise the kids, but at the same time still take care of yourself and still look good for your husband or for the society or for yourself even. And do you know what I mean? And you've got to do all these things, and at the end of the day, you keep getting criticized that you're not doing enough, you're not doing this well enough, and you're not doing that, or you don't meet this point. It's like, do you actually realize how much we are juggling, you know, as a woman? And I think going down to we're talking about being a woman as a role, biologically, what makes you a woman is obviously certain body parts which only women have. Obviously men have their organizational structure, biologically.
Very controversial.
You said organizational structure.
Honestly.
And women have their organizational structure biologically. There is that. Obviously we have the ability, and it doesn't mean that everybody's able to do so for whatever reason, but the ability to childbear as well. I'm not saying having kids makes you a woman, because you can still be a woman in the absence of kids. However, the organizational structure is there, to be a woman. So that's one aspect of it, because we're talking about features as well. And if we're going down to we have to go down to basics in terms of the features, because we're talking about being feminine, the body. So you talked about body shape, kind of like not being too bulky, not having too much muscles, being more soft, and that looks like a woman. But we haven't, that's the internal part that we haven't even addressed. So there's a number of things that kind of makes you a woman. It's not just one factor. But then we then go into roles. And I think being able to play those amount of roles, being a daughter, a wife, a mother, a sister, a friend, a companion, all of those are also roles that make you a woman.
I can't even see. Oi, come on, please. We want to hear from you as well.
I'll be just. I'm not doing it deliberately, but I feel like you two are advocating the points perfectly well. Continue. Don't let me stop you.
Can you imagine, like,
is that from your late night yesterday?
Oh, wow.
My late night yesterday.
Wow.
I'm gonna sugarcoat it.
All right, cool. Whoever it is you think I was spending that late night with, put your hand up now. Said.
Wow.
I'm still looking. I don't see no one.
I put resources.
Let me tell you who my late night was with. It was me and some freaking chicken nuggets. That's who it was. Me, chicken nuggets, and freaking Lion King too. Thank you very much. And that's what it is to be a woman, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to our podcast. I got they're flipped off subjects, but I got this because I decided it would be appropriate to dive bomb on top of the sofa. Leave it at that. Leave it at that. I had a hectic weekend. Okay. Look, I was out.
I can't wait till Fee's blog Slices of Fee comes out, because the stuff that she be getting up to, honestly, like, I just can't. I just can't. You know, shout out to the future blog though, because, you know, that stuff be coming, that content's coming. Hey, small plug. But anyway,
put pressure on me. The stress. The stress.
Applying pressure is my favorite thing.
I watched my mum growing up. My mum was very similar to both of your mums. Mum worked a lot. She studied as well. She went back to school for a number of qualifications, etc. But I never ever felt like mum ever put any pressure on me or gave me some sort of misguided perception that I couldn't do it all, if that made sense. Because she did it all, and it didn't seem like it was having any negative. Not to say she didn't. She had a couple medical problems, but it wasn't anything that was like life threatening, if that makes sense. But she's just always been able to do it, and she did it so effortlessly. Everything was always planned ahead. Everything was done well in advance. Everything was she was organized, and she had her act together. Like, I remember I think by year 5-ish, I'd be up early, we'd leave the house together, I'd go to my friend's house, she'd go to work. After school, I'd come home with my friend, get home, I'd start doing my homework. She didn't even have to tell me, she didn't even have to look in my direction, I'd just start doing my homework. She'd get home, she'd make dinner, she'd prepare my lunch for the next day, and she just kept it pushing. And she always my mum used to wear jerry curls. She was a piffy with the jerry curls, I'm not gonna lie. Mum used to wear her hair in jerry curls, and she always used to get her jerry curls done religiously. I'm talking, she would go to my Auntie Grace's house and spend the whole day there and get her jerry curls done, and she would then come home. Like, she did it all. I mean, now she's older in it, so like times have changed, but like, she was doing it. She was doing the most. I can't say that she's ever given me the impression that I should fall under pressure, or that she wasn't ever enough, or, do you know what I mean? And that's probably why I don't have the same perception, just because from what I've seen firsthand, I'm not feeling it like that.
Then doesn't that conclude, like, sort of being I don't know if you agree, but I feel like from what we've all said, our perception of being a woman is being able to do it all, like being able to wear all of those hats and still look flawless at the end of the day.
Not gonna lie, the flawless bit.
My mum was flawless. Like, as you mentioned, your mum going to do hair. My mum used to have the jerry curls back in the day as well. Yeah. But she quickly grew out of that.
Wow,
I just throw it out there. And I went to
Shade.
the perm. I went to the perm. But my mom's hair is long, lovely, long. She sometimes have her own hair out. Sometimes she'll have unusual extensions, whatever. And she had her person that did hair as well. Mom will always like have her nails done. We went to the nail shop with her. Like that's how I've followed suit. Do you know what I mean? Like she would always look on fleek. Had her suits Monday to Friday in a suit. Do you know what I mean? Come back in time for dinner. Have us ready for dinner, bed, do homework with us on the schedule, food on schedule, like homework on schedule, TV on schedule. Bruh, I worked from timetables, and there's no wonder why I am working on a timetable.
Timetable.
For me, my life is a timetable, bruh. And if it doesn't fit into my calendar and it doesn't fit into my timetable, it is not happening. But yeah, so she's always been that person. I feel like, for me, my perception has always been a woman is someone who can wear those many hats or play those many roles. And I'm not saying effortlessly, because it does take effort and it does take a toll in many directions and in many things, but being able to do that, I feel like we do have the ability to do that. We were kind of brought into this or to be a helper, and in all of those roles we are helpers and supporters. Do you know what I mean? And the reason why we can, okay, as a Christian, I'm like, God doesn't give us more than we can bear. So if it's 5 children that you can bear, a job, a husband, a house, a blah, 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 then he's giving you the energy, the strength, the patience, the tolerance to be able to do that as well. And I feel like we as women have an extra set of blessings to be able to do those things, and the ability to do those and carry them out, which looks to the public as effortlessly. So that my perception is being able to do it all.
I try to do it all, but I'm not gonna lie. Some days I just, when it's work time, I make sure my outfit's put together, but my face, not every day. Can't be bothered. It's just not my thing. It's not my thing. I feel like my natural face is enough, and if you can't deal with it, then I didn't ask you to deal with it. Simple as. But my face is enough, innit? That's it. And then when I want to go out, I'll get myself glammed up, shake it, higgy haka, higgy, and then I'll go out, innit? But
makeup is handmade anyway, so no one said your face wasn't perked up or beautiful enough or flawless enough. That's just media and man-made perception.
Girl, look at you giving me sauce. I'm gonna give you some sauce right back. Smile with me, them pretty whites over there, all willy-nilly. Goddamn,
Judy, you go say something. Please take over from behind.
Juliet as well. She got that afro going on. She got that waka chicka vibe going on right now. 70s, Judy did. Goddamn, with them hip fucking jeans. I need to play some funky music as Juliet's anthem whenever she walks into a room.
Well, okay.
And that's what it is to be a woman to feed.
I had enough of you.
Could never take it back.
Oh my gosh. Julie, save the show, please. Save the show.
You know what? I was just gonna say, actually, it's interesting you lot say that. I feel like I understand why our mothers, our African mothers, our West African mothers did that, and I'm sure many other mothers do as well. I understand the sacrifices they made in order for us to get to where we are, and what they did for our families as a whole. But I don't think that multitasking is necessarily always the best thing to do when you're trying to execute things properly. That's my own perspective anyway. And I remember reading Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. And she talks about in her books that women can definitely have it all. We can definitely wear all those hats, but we can't wear them all at the same time. And I absolutely agree with that sort of idea, simply because I think sometimes when you're trying to give 100 to everything, you leave yourself with nothing. And I think it's very easy when you're running around doing everything to neglect yourself. And I don't mean how you look, especially if you're putting effort into how you look for somebody else, you will do that shit. But what I mean is taking the time to actually make sure, are you having enough sleep? Whilst you're making food for everybody else, where is your own plate? Or are you eating everybody else's plate instead? Like, even when it comes to making sure that you're taking care of your own health appointments, instead of just taking your son, daughter, husband to their GP appointments because you don't have time to do your own. And even making your own lunch. Auntie, you are buying fish and chips every day, but my lunch is always prepared. Please, can you just relax? Relax your nerves. I just feel like I saw my mum put in 100 for everybody else consistently for the entirety of my life, and I think she's fine, to be honest, but I feel like it's taken a while for her to even realize how to begin to care for herself as she's gotten older, and as me and my little sister have gotten older as well. And I know that taking on from our good auntie Michelle Obama, I don't want to be in that same position, and I think I'd rather try and learn to do things in a way that are healthy for me, beneficial for me, and also do still help others, because obviously that's the main aim. But that's just my take anyway.
Agreed about the all hats thing. Like, yeah, you can't. I mean, what do they say? Jack of all trades, master of none.
None.
Yeah. And yeah, there has to be a balance. But I feel like it is the ability to be able to create that balance and fulfill those roles. But as you rightly said, Jules, included in that is self-care, which we should come on to next. But yeah, there is a level of self-care in there that has to be accommodated as well, and I feel like that is a role to yourself, and all the other roles are to other people, being other people's helpers, but you have to be your own helper as well. Because bubble, not only was you born alone.
So then, when we say about this whole, like, just quickly, you say about the whole is about being able to do it all, etc., etc. Have you ever gotten to, so in those points, have you ever witnessed or seen what it is that as women we should do if we ever get to that breaking point?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking both of you.
Support system. I think as much as you are a helper, helpers need help, and
how often do helpers get helpers though?
Or how often do helpers? I mean, that's what helpers. How often do the people who need to ask for help set their pride aside
and ask for help? It don't happen. It don't happen. All you get is resentment.
Let me say something.
My mom will be at home. But nobody, every day I'm killing myself for you people. And we're there sitting at the table like, oh, here we go again. Okay.
But you know what? A successful leader doesn't do all the jobs on their own, even though they're in charge of all the jobs. They delegate. And it's still getting the jobs done, but having them done with a shared workload. And that is what I feel women need to achieve. You're still the helper and you're still in charge of those things being achieved. However, it's the way you go about achieving them. Honey, you can't be in 5 places at once. It physically is impossible until somebody creates a kind of experiment, Okay. Until then, it is physically impossible to be in 5 places at once unless you're quintuplets. But even still, it just isn't. It's not possible. So you have to kind of find a way to manage, to balance, to organize. And I feel like women do have that ability. It's just tapping into it and being able to implement it in your own life, as well as a self-care factor. So if 4 out of 5 of those places are for other people, that one other place you have to focus on it as well. So it's a balance. It's shared, and it does need to be sometimes given out to other people to be able to be like, you're in charge of this, you're in charge of this, and delegate.
Agreed. I'm not gonna lie though, I feel like sometimes this might only be me, but I have a bit of self-loathing towards myself when I have to do it. It might just be me, but I'm just a bit like,
it's because there's a guilt I feel like that's the thing, like there's a guilt to do it all. There is a guilt, like the idea of you handing out your responsibility to somebody else. I can't even lie, I find it difficult because I'm in my head, I'm telling myself I'm supposed to be doing all of this, I'm supposed to be handling all of this on my own. This is my passion, this is what I care about, and handing it to somebody else is like admitting defeat, like I can't handle this.
Yes.
And I remember before, like I'm changing this slowly because I think that's a problematic thing to believe in, but I think to not be able to admit that you can't handle everything is crazy, because it means that one day you will get to a boiling point and you'll get to a point where you can't handle shit and you still don't know how to ask for help. Then what happens to you? I'm not trying to get to there, please. I cannot come and kill myself.
Yeah.
But it's that same analogy though. You want to be able to do everything on your own, or you
And
want
I
to be
ain't
the person
supposed to.
behind it. At the same time, you're like, I can't come and kill myself. So it's a
We're
contradiction.
not supposed
You have
to.
to.
I
You're
don't feel
not
like we're
supposed
supposed
to.
to.
At the end of the day, you want to make sure that your children get their homework done. Are you going to be the one that's going to write it for them? No, they still have to do a part of it. It's still your
They're
role
meant
to
to
make
do
sure
all
they
of
get it
it.
done. That's what I mean. It's still your role to make sure they get their work done, but it's not your job to do it for them.
No.
So that's the same with all the other roles. It's like, yes, you may be the overseer to make sure it is done. Your husband has food, or your kids have food, or the house is tidy, and blah, blah, blah.
Why is it that I must be providing all these things
Blah.
at once? I have a whole husband. Are we not partnership?
I'm just saying, I'm throwing roles up. We're talking about traditionalism as well. So
Yeah, I ain't
I'm
got time
throwing
for
it
that
all
shit.
out there. I'm throwing it all out there.
I'm definitely not
But-
gonna be traditional wife.
But I'm saying that it may be your responsibility or your role to make sure it's done. It does not mean that you have to be the person to do it. You have to balance. And you need to seek for help. You need assistance. Everybody needs help. Yes, we were born in this world by ourselves, but people exist. Other people exist for a reason.
Exactly.
And that is to help support and coexist with you. Sometimes some people are there to pull you down, I'm not gonna lie. But everything works for good and not for evil. I'm not joking about that. I'm so serious. Everything works for good and not for evil. So even those that are there to pull you down, it is for a good reason.
Agreed.
Actually, I do think it's very important that we don't put ourselves into a box of having to do everything by ourselves, because it's true. Like, I feel like having someone to be able to sort of like, not necessarily lean on, but having your support system in place to make sure that when you are doing too much, that if anything, if you can't always see it yourself, they're there to check you and be like, listen, sis, chill out, you're doing too much. And even if it's your partner, your husband, you gotta have that. So I guess to almost sort of like wrap up, guys, what do you think it is to be a woman in your own words? And we're gonna start with you, Fee.
Just be you. You're enough.
I like that. That was
You lot thought I was clowning about too much, but just be you, innit? You're enough.
What I'm gonna say is, I think everything comes with a balance. I think part of being a woman is a role. If you don't know what that is, you need to kind of think about the things that are around you, where you want to go, where you want to be, who you are to people, daughter, wife, husband. Daughter, wife, niece, auntie, so on and so forth. All the female roles, and see where you can excel, where you can be a help to, but at the same time, you need a support system. So don't forget to self-love, and don't forget to seek help where you need it as well. It also doesn't mean doing everything by yourself, even if you are in charge of it. Sometimes delegate, sometimes organize a bit better where other people can help you with these things. And if you missed it, tune into our other episode, support systems, just throwing that out there. Yeah, so you know how the importance of a support system and how to get one if you don't have one.
100%. I think to wrap up, I would say, see what Hat's been talking about? Sis, burn them all. I do think that being a woman isn't just about being able to slip and slide into one job and then the other. I think it's really about being able to discover what your passion is, what truly matters to you, and then how you're going to be able to cultivate that at a pace that actually suits you. And I guess there's a lot of pressure on women to sort of be able to excel and do it all, but I think it's about really staying in your own lane and thinking about what actually matters to you in that particular moment and taking it from there. Whether it is that you want to seek the love of your life or the career of your life or whatever it is that you think is important to you, do that at your own pace and don't feel pressure to sort of do everything all at once. So that is it from the 92 Diaries for today, this afternoon, tonight, whenever you're listening. What's it called? We are on our usual socials, 92.diaries on Instagram, and all of our others are listed as below. So yeah, we are out every 2 weeks on a Tuesday. So yeah, hopefully you guys all take care and we love you. Good night.
Bye.
Deuces.
Bye.